Hello, I've got one of these bags from the 11/11 AliExpress order, but actually I knew what was in this bag, and what I've ordered was actually you read already the video's name, so it won't be a surprise. Anyway, bag looks attractive, and I've got KB Ear Night earbuds. I'm not a fan of earbuds form factor. They usually don't fit my ears well, but I like what KB Ear do, and this time they've created pretty unusual earbuds. As you can see, big dynamic driver and 109 decibels of impedance, sensitivity, 32 ohms of impedance, so this thing could be a really nice earbud. Is it so? We'll talk a bit later, but now let's have a closer look. Box is fairly traditional, it's typical matchbox-like. Inside we'll have a user guide in case you don't know what to do with earbuds, but I suppose I think in this case you won't be able to use internet. Let's pull it out. You will have earbuds themselves, and additionally nice set of different forms of different colors. So accessory set is okay for this $18 earbuds, and for earbuds actually it's a normal accessory set. Here they are. Build quality is really nice. It's probably higher than could be expected from the $18 earphones. They are made of metal, built really solidly, has unusual design. Maybe not something outstanding, but at least they have their own look. They fit in nicely into ears. You can wear them cable down or over the ear. Of course, fit is really depends on your outer ear shape, because some people always prefer earbuds, other people have issues with fit. I usually need some adjustment to find a proper position, but after that they fit in nicely. Of course, should you select earbuds or in-ear monitors, it's a tough question, and it depends on your preferences. So if you don't like the idea of sticking something inside your ear channel, or if your ear channels are too sensitive, then earbuds is the only option for you. Another plus of earbuds is that you can hear what's going outside of you in case of some busy traffic around you on the street or something like that, or if you need to use them somewhere when you need to hear what's going on. And third option, usually they are a bit better in terms of imaginary stage, because they are located outside of your ear, and it's adding a bit of size to the imaginary stage. And on the negative side, usually they are lacking bass impact comparing with in-ear monitors, and of course sound isolation is really low, so don't expect sound isolation comparing with in-ear monitors. As you can see, there is strain relief. Cable is pretty good. It's soft, not the softest one, but on the softer side. It's silver-plated copper, looks pretty attractive, nice splitter, and it goes down to the jack. As you can see, nice touch. They are made in similar style and looks pretty attractive. So in terms of build quality, I'd say that they probably looks better than their price range, and they seems to be durable, because everything is made of metal, cable is solid, and everything is built really well. And of course, about the sound, I gave them about 40 hours of burn-in, because usually big drivers require some extended burn-in, but there were no changes in their sound. So let's have some player on the table to show you an examples, and let's proceed. In terms of tuning, they are resolving natural and leaning towards a brighter side. Actually, they are lacking a bit of low frequencies impact. It's typical for the earbuds, but in this case they even have a bit less low frequencies than usual. I used this foam tips because they allows me to reduce treble a little bit and increase the overall volume to get more low frequencies. So bass is linear, it has good resolution. Actually it's a bit on the faster side comparing with normal, a bit faster and a bit more resolving, so it's a bit dry. It has, it has a depth, but because of lacking quantity, it's lacking impact, it's lacking weight and everything that is required for the low frequencies. It's a matter of taste, because with acoustic instruments, for example, it's okay, but it's not good for synthesized low frequencies. It's not good for those who require a lot of rumbling low bass. It can be tweaked a little bit with equalizer, but of course in-ear monitors are usually better in this aspect. So as an example, I've got Daft Punk, Lose Yourself to Dance, and this track has no noticeable bass line, not probably the deepest and heaviest hitting bass, but it stays somewhere on that margin that is okay for me, but of course more accented lows would be nice. And another thing that is noticeable with this track is that when the sound A in dance, it's sounding a bit sharper than it should be, so they have some resonance on the upper mid somewhere. And at the same time, bass is pretty resolving, and it's definitely not bleeding on the mids and not shadowing them. And mids actually the strongest part of this in-ear monitors. They are resolving, they are really good in terms of resolution, they have good weight, they are not focused on the micro detalization, and they are pretty good with macro dynamics, they are good with different emotions, they are really nice in this aspect. Instruments that hits in the mid frequencies sounding pretty realistic and enjoyable, so it's typical earphones with good resolving dynamic drivers. Imaginary stage is above average in width and in depth, but it's also typical for the earbuds. Not the most spacious, but a bit higher than average. For $18 probably I think it's a normal result. They are not critical to the quality of recording, so they don't require something that is superbly recorded. It's definitely not some audiophiliac model. And as an example for the mid frequencies, I've got Tuomas Holopainen Dreamtime, nice orchestral piece with a lot of instruments. I like Tuomas as a composer, and his symphonic poem about the Scrooge is superb. I definitely recommend it to everyone. And actually Christmas time is coming, so probably the story about the Scrooge is fitting this time of the year. Anyway, it has a lot of instruments as it's symphonic orchestra, and this earbuds playing it nicely, but they're lacking a bit of low frequencies rumble typical to the symphonic orchestra that is present here. And treble. There is some peak on the that I've mentioned before, somewhere on the lower treble or upper mids, not sure where it's hitting. So mids treble is really resolving, really good extension, but if you're sensitive to the treble, it won't be probably your option, because they are leaning toward the brighter side. If they had more bass, probably it could compensate it, but it's not the case. So it's a model for those who like natural resolving and a bit brighter sound. And as an example here, I've got Vladimir Cosma, the most famous composer of tunes that everyone heard, but not everyone knows their names. He created so many great soundtracks of so many great movies, but I selected one, Hot Dog. Usually his tunes are really lightweight, they are really positive, really major in terms of sound, and they used a lot of synthesizers, pretty high pitched, and so they are airy and going really high to the treble area, and these earbuds represent all that stuff nicely. So, in terms of pairing, they don't require anything superb. They can be used with smartphone or with any DAB, so they don't require some super black background or some superb controller or something like that. Just some normal regular source without being too bright. Maybe something a bit darker and warmer will complement them. I won't be making any comparisons this time because I didn't test many earbuds in this price range, and actually I didn't test many earbuds at all. I've tested, for example, Astrotech Lyra Nature. They are like 10 times more expensive if I remember price right, but of course they are much more balanced and so on. And there is not much sense in comparing it with some in-ear monitors like, I don't know, KZ ZSN or some other affordable model. So, to summarize everything, it's it's a fun earbuds, but they are not universal, so I won't recommend buying them without listening. You can buy them as a second or third pair to your collection because they are fitting some genres really nicely. They are good with some instrumental music, they are good with vocals, so they are good with that genres where you need clarity, where you need stage and other stuff like that. And of course they are almost a no-go for genres when you need deep, impactful bass. So, it's kind of second in-ear earbuds for your collection or something like that. So it was KB Ear Night. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.